Listen, babe. Oh, yeah. It's alright, alright, alright. Listen, babe. Oh, yeah. It's alright, alright, alright.
Yo, what's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Welcome to another edition of Hope. This is going to be a really dope and exciting and thought-provoking class today. I'm Court Smith. This is Nana Confetti in spirit and online. And we got something really dope cooked up for you guys, as well as just some things to help you guys really think through entrepreneurship and help build your foundation for how you move forward in your life and in your entrepreneurship journey. So I don't think there's any announcements. Thank you for all those who continue to donate. It definitely helps us move our needle forward. So for those who feel compelled to do so, please continue to do it. Again, this is the last month that will be free. So if you haven't registered, as we talked about last week, if you haven't registered, register, because that's how you can get put on all the podcasts and the group discussions and things of that nature when it comes to homework. Because as we all know and as we all preach on a consistent basis, that your progress is in your practice. This is a setup for your practice. So 3 hours a week is not the work. 3 hours a week is giving you the tools to do the work. So actually your work is during the week. So make sure if you haven't registered, please register. And if you have questions online, raise them, comments, ideas. If you disagree, if you challenge it, feel free, because this is an open discussion and we are all peers here. And it's about us helping each other to go to the next level. So you can't lose if you challenge, because either you're going to upgrade your software or I'm going to upgrade mine. You feel me? So let's get started. Oh, and if you want to roast me because I got glasses, go ahead. I've been fighting this shit for a long time, but I get headaches from staring at computers, and I have to squint when I'm looking at the screen. So, shit, it is what it is. Huh? It's a prescription. It's a prescription. And you know hey, I got a story for you. Quick story. I walk into the lens crafter thing, and I'm like, fuck, I need glasses. Help me get the glasses. So I'm doing my thing. Took about an hour, and I noticed there was one sister that worked there. She was just moving, shaking, moving, telling everybody, you go here, you do this, just managing everything, good customer service, handling, de-escalating problems. And I just looked at her, I'm like, you run this place, huh? As a joke. You the boss around here. And kept it pushing. Long story short, they wrapping me up, getting me my glasses together. And so she's like, that same woman was like, your voice sound familiar. I'm like, what? She's like, your voice sound familiar. Do you and Nana teach a class on Wednesday nights? I'm like, what the fuck? She's like, yes, my husband and I watched the class. I'm like, what? That's crazy. What a coincidence out of all the places. So then she she rearranged some shit on the computer, gave me that little love on a discount. I'm like, this shit is dope. So, but to me, it's like the beauty of this class is that it's almost like a secret society of high performers, that you can start slowly recognizing people in random places without even knowing it. Or they recognize you, and that's the group, that's the community, that's the network that we build in with Hope, which makes the whole philosophy of what was built, or the idea of how it was built, so dope. Because soon we'll be able to refer each other's businesses, refer each other's services, products, and to each other, because we created this network of Black folks who are performing, not just entrepreneurship. They could be performing at a corporate level, but they're performing at such a high level that we all speak the same language, and that's what makes this network beautiful and dope. So if you haven't decided on whether or not you want to take this class or continue to take the class, I mean, like, if you're an entrepreneur and you're trying to build something, the network of people who are in the space that are performing at a high level, at every level, is so strong that that's worth the value just by itself. Even if we just sat up there and just stared at each other, the network effect and the people that are around you that can help level you up, because you only are as powerful as the 5 people around you. And this entrepreneurship shit is lonely a lot of times when it comes to those 5 people, especially if you black. So if you've been going after it like I didn't have a network. I had to tear away from all my bullshit friends and all the people that was toxic to my growth. And you look around and look for people who look like you that are on the same journey as you, and you can't find them. So I know this brother was doing the same thing, and we even have mutual friends, but we never cross paths because we in our silos getting it. So this is almost making it easier for you to find each other, trade numbers, info, whatever, and work with each other, hold each other accountable, hold yourself accountable. So, if you really are just on the fence, or you thinking of, it's imperative. It's priceless. That alone is priceless. The amount of business that we trade amongst each other, and services that we trade amongst each other is priceless. I think about Josh, who's behind the laptop right now, behind the scenes. He gets it in. He fully utilizes the network of hope. He gets it in. A lot of the photos and photo shoots and stuff that a lot of people see on Instagram or wherever, Josh was behind that camera. He'd be silently hustling, utilizing that network. So it's just a side thought. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. First question of the night for all of you. So if you're online, you can create dialogue or answer the questions online. If you're here, I'd love to hear your input. Just raise your hand. We'll pass the mic, and we'll start some dialogue in terms of getting to the root of black entrepreneurship and black excellence and black growth. First question: why do most black businesses fail? Why do most black businesses fail? Is it the hot sauce caps? What is it? Think about it. No, I want to hear, like, if you have a answer, raise your hand. We'll get you the mic, and Shakina starting us off.
Of course, me and my big mouth starts it off. No.
Love it.
I think that a lot of businesses fail because they go into business with the wrong mindset.
Mindset.
For elaboration, going into things for profit instead of impact, putting the service before the needs of the customers, like things of that nature, like just thinking about things in a way where they're more so designing a business for themselves, not designing a business for the consumer.
So basically, wrong mindset. Selfish. So what you say is wrong mindset. Is me versus customer. What else? Kaja?
I think sometimes they might be afraid to ask for help, and by the time they're willing to say something, the business is already to the point of no return.
Ego. That's basically afraid to ask for help. Why do you? I'm sorry. Let's touch on that. Why do you think that? What are some of the causes? What reasons why they're afraid to ask for help?
Because they may not be people around who they feel could help them. Because they may not feel that they have people in their immediate circle who have the experience to be able to help them, or because they don't want to look like they don't know, or because they're already in it, and then you might as well just thug it out.
Okay.
I was going to piggyback off that. Admitting they're wrong is sometimes hard. And there's also a level of denial that you're probably in the shithole as far as you think you are. And I think sometimes that tunnel vision, that stubbornness also keeps you stuck and not able to grow out of that. Or pivot, I should say.
I think the other thing too is that a lot of times they're the first of their family to try something. So they've got like a chip on their back. They have something to prove. And if they fail, a lot of times like they internalize that failure and they like take it as like a chip against themselves, as opposed to, I tried this thing and it didn't work, so what can I learn from it? But they'll be like, oh damn, I fucked up or I failed. What does that say about me? And I think a lot of people are afraid of that failure.
Okay, can you help me with that? Explain that a little bit more.
I could just explain from personal. So like I've had my gym for 7 years, and my first 2 years was all about proving everybody wrong. And so when I almost closed at the end of every year for my first 2 years because I had it way too easy when I opened. I went from making like $7,000 a month, no overhead, thinking I was more money than I had ever made in my life. And I was like balling, making hella bad decisions, opened a brick and mortar, didn't financially plan or account for things. And then it came to the end of the year for the slow period, and I absolutely internalized every single bad decision that I made. I had wonderful hindsight, but no foresight. And so then I thought I was a bad person because I didn't know how to plan for my business. And then I had all these people looking up to me, and I was like, well, shit, I can't let them see me sweat. I can't let them see me fall. I got to figure it out. And so, and for a long time, I was just like, I second-guessed myself, not my business, not the decisions that I made for my business, but my personal value. And it took me several years to figure out how to detach that from the business.
Well, my thing is having a chip actually a bad thing? Is that harmful?
I don't think it's used properly.
So having a chip is connected to ego, right? Having a chip is connected to ego. So if you start a business and you like, fuck the haters, I'm gonna prove them wrong, and that's part of your explosion to get you off the ground, I think it's not necessarily wrong in that moment. I think it's almost like a rocket ship. When you watch the rocket ships go into outer space, it's two separate components to that, right? So the rocket ship, you can liken that to the ego. Fuck these haters, they hating on me, nobody believes on me, and it gets you off the ground. Once you get into outer space, outside this gravitational pull of this atmosphere, we call it the hater atmosphere, you're in space now. If you still rocking with that same engine, you're gonna go to galaxies far, far away. So it's important for you to, at that point, break away from that. And now all you need is just blow air, because there's that light in that particular atmosphere. So I think the danger is not in the ego. The danger is not being able to not know when to disconnect and detach from it. Because if you rocking with that 10 years later, it's failure.
One of the dope lessons that I take from Nana, because, I get to get Nana'd all the time, which is a blessing, which is a blessing. But
Nana'd. Nana'd. You just got nana'd.
Damn it, now I lost my train of thought. I'm going to get to my distribution.
All right, let's
come
go.
back
Let's
to
keep it moving.
Could we separate, could you use the board and put which one of those categories are psychological, which one is tactical?
So delete this.
Yeah. You could abbreviate it. Or you could just do a white page on your computer. You could create a separation of pages.
A white page on my
So
computer.
just do a white sheet in notes or something like that, open up notes. And then I want you to just create two categories, psychological, and one category is tactical. And if they could just call out those categories and then just list categories again, let's just put them in separate categories.
All right, so So Kaja's was. Don't want to ask for help. Ride it out. Them wheels. Okay. And then, all right, let's keep going. Let's keep going.
I want to throw in some of online's answers.
Okay.
One, Henry said his failed because he was trying to sell something at a cheap price without understanding the value of his product to the customer.
Cheap price. Got you.
Another one was thinking you can do everything in the business.
Is that psychological or is that tactical?
I mean, it's a form of control issues, so I would say that's psychological. I mean, not control issues, but a form of needing control. As we, I know we talked about the example of how businesses, when an entrepreneur exits his business and the business dies with him, it was normally because of the control he had over the business that it wasn't teachable or left for somebody to be able to take over the business, I guess you could say. And that usually comes from a form of control, over covering every basis and not allowing other people to grow into the business or take it to the next level.
Got you. Okay, that was a good one.
I have some from YouTube. I want to lob up to you.
Okay.
So Tone Vic said, selfish instead of selfless. Tawana Wells said, not having a solid plan.
Okay.
Kenneth gave two, but the first one was unaddressed trauma.
Okay.
Colette said it was a lack of knowledge. That one I think you should speak on.
A lack of knowledge.
Yes.
Okay.
And then Christopher Foster brought up Russell Westbrook, God rest his soul, because Chris Foster's a Laker fan and he's at home suffering. And
It's
he
worse
just
than COVID.
yeah, he like if he's depressed, it has nothing to do with his own personal life.
No,
It's just the Lakers.
the Lakers.
Yeah, yeah. So, but Christopher Foster.
Y'all wanted him, Chris.
Oh no, Chris is gonna get this. He said.
You wanted that dress.
He said people are defensive. They can't receive feedback, i.e. Russell Westbrook. Westbrook, yes. And then DeMondre Ward said emotional damage.
Okay.
And then Miss Acacia said lacking a vision to scale.
Is that tactical or psychological? Lacking a vision to scale. It sounds tactical.
It's both.
You use the word vision, but really it's the word vision needs to be replaced with something because scaling is all tactical.
No, it's both. So you could not know what it is, but also before you even get there, you have to deal with scarcity as a barrier.
Okay. Any more?
Lack of introspection and monitoring your habits, your daily habits.
Okay, thank you.
One that I think was important was not knowing how to respond to changes in the market.
Not knowing how to.
I don't know if it's tactical or psychological, but not knowing how to deal with people, not knowing how to,
That's psychological.
yeah. You're not customer service oriented, as you would say in a tactical way.
Okay.
Lack of skill and mindset are already up there. Did we cover those?
Lack of skill and mindset.
They were,
I'll split them up.
okay.
Lack of skill on this one. and
That
then
came from Lisa on
lack of
Facebook.
mindset. Okay. Poor branding. Scarcity. Yes, let's keep it rocking. Couple more. I want to ask a second question. Steal. Getting out of your own way. All right, before I ask our second question, let's run through these. Let's go through these and discuss them. So, first of all, you see this list? You see the weight of this list? You see how it's weighted? What is that, 70-30, 80-20, psychological? So, for those of you who ask the question, why are you guys teaching this shit? Why are you teaching this psychological stuff? Why are you teaching emotional agility, ego is an enemy, code of extraordinary mind? Why are you teaching like mental and emotional stuff? It's because from your mouth, from your brain, most businesses fail because of 80% psychological, emotional damage. So why the hell would we teach you tactics when the foundation is broken and severely damaged? That's like pouring water in a cup with holes in it. And we say, how come this cup don't have no water in it? Like, you guys are a little bit more advanced than what was in my brain, because I was also ready for because we don't have no funding and because the white man, I was waiting for that. I was going to eat that shit. I was going to light your ass up too. Nobody did it. I was waiting for that, but good job. But this still brings us to the point. If you don't realize that you being a successful entrepreneur is weighted, it's resting, it's determined by you and your emotional space, and you healing your trauma, and you working on your daily, if you don't realize that, then you're going to be lost. If you think being a successful entrepreneur is all tactics, at the state you're in a blind spot and you fucked. Because even if you worked your whole life to be a successful entrepreneur and you worked on yourself, there's always more, because you're always changing. The minute you get to a space where you think you got it, you change, your body change, your emotions change, your surroundings change. You get older, you need fucking glasses, shit just start falling. So then you have to readjust your whole psychological mindset to who you are today. And so entrepreneurship is so in the psychological, mental, and emotional moment, and that most of us Black folks are put in positions where we don't get the luxury to work on ourselves.
Well, I got one that's added that I think you want to. I just came in. I'm jumping between because after tearing a hole in Chris Lakers, I missed this one from Jay Rich, but this is important because I think the Jay Rich. Thank you, first of all, because I think it's important to tell folks there's no dumb questions and dumb answers or dumb anything, and a lot of times, if something sounds foreign to you, because you're just not part of that group, and I think Jay Rich echoes the voice of most of black folks in Oakland. And he says, I believe black businesses fail because the customer base is not strategic. Everyone takes advantage of us, and we forget to play their game in return. We have to remember profit is a business reason.
Strategic. Okay. Oh yeah. Thank you for that, Jay Rich. So let's dive deep in. I'm gonna save that one for last. I needed that. And like you said, there's no wrong answers. There's no, to me, the more active you are, and the more questions you ask, the more things get raised, the more dialogue we can have, and the more knowledgeable we can be. So there's no dumb questions. There's nothing. So yeah, that's a great one. So don't want to ask for help, rather write it out. That's connected to our egos. Don't want to ask for help, write it out, connected to our egos. It's not necessarily our fault as black people because we were raised on different premises. It's not, don't blame yourself for being that way. A lot of us, this type of energy, that type of psychological mental mindset is what got us survived out the hood. We survived because of that mindset. We survived. Because you looked around and wasn't nobody there, or it was crackheads, or it was this, or racism. So you had to have that. You had to adopt that independent mindset. But psychologically, as an entrepreneur, it's so counterproductive. It's opposite of what you need. Like we were talking about before we started this, the network effect in business is one of the primary things you need in order to be successful and survive and get through rough patches in your business and to scale your business. It's all about relationships. It's who you know. Now, if you're an entrepreneur, it's who you know, who knows you, who you can call, but who picks up the phone. Who picks up the phone and who will be there for you if you need help. It's not just who you know. It's all those things. Because there's people with, endless scrolls of people in their phone. But who gonna pick up? And when you 3 o'clock in the morning and you need some shit, who gonna be like, I got you, bro. I got you, sis. Because of the relationship you built over time. So that island shit, kill it. Thinking you can do both, that's a killer too. And a lot of times it's connected to that one. Selfish instead of selfless. This is what I'll say, is that one is an inflictor of most of us. Because a lot of times we'll start our businesses with chips on our shoulder or with ego. So the race is to let that shit go. Get it, once you get out, you gotta get it out off as soon as possible, because if not, the hue of your business will say, it's all about me, it's all about me, it's all about me. And even if in your brain, you think it's not. But everybody around, when they look at it, like, ugh, that's some selfie ass shit. Everything about it says you. And that's the biggest failures. That's one of the biggest failures in business. If your favorite color is purple, that's why you picked the logo purple. If you did that because you like it, because it's about you. So then you wonder why you ain't got no customers but you. Because you designed it for you. That's a huge one. That's a huge one. When you have a mentality of being of service, then that allows you to get off you. Who gives a shit? I don't give a fuck. How can I serve you, Charlize? How can I serve you? I mean, for real, where you walk away and be like, that was incredible. I'm coming back. And if I didn't do a good job, how can I do better next time? I'm going to take notes. That's the move. And a lot of us ain't humble enough to do that. Just ain't. Fuck that, I ain't doing that shit. Won't. I ain't doing that. That's the real. we learned the word hospitality. We're a hospitality company. I got that word from Nana, point blank, period. We're a hospitality company. What does it mean to be a hospitality company? I'm a service. I mean, I'm a product. I'm not a service. So why I got to trip on that? No. Those of y'all know, when you walk into my office, you get what you need. You want a shot of Hennessy? I don't even drink alcohol. I got the whole shit for you. What you want? You want a shot? You want this? You want some this? Or you want water? You want the bubbles or no bubbles? You want the this? Because my customers need to have an experience when they come in. But that only comes from being of service. And you look around, if you look around and find more ways to be of service, that's how you win. Like, you order a $20 shirt, you're going to get a box and paper and stickers and a handwritten note, because we're always striving to be of service. So if you ain't on that mode, then I don't know what to tell you if you want to be successful. Unaddressed trauma. Unaddressed trauma is a direct correlation between you and your success. The scale of what you're working on. Because the scale of what you're working on is an imprint of you. Starts from you. So if you got some dope products or dope designs or dope whatever, and it feels almost like an invisible wall that's holding you back. I've been there. Where you're sitting there and it's just crickets. Like, what the fuck? Everybody tells me my shit is dope. I believe my shit is dope. I look around at my competitors and my shit is doper than theirs. How come I'm sitting here with no customers? One of the things that you need to do is reflect, and that's why we're starting with Code of Extraordinary Minds. That's why we're starting with the book, because this first 6 months is to work on those pieces of yourself, because there's no way that we can give you tactical game, give you business game, strategy game, data, skill game, and you're not working on yourself. You're not working on healing your trauma. It's so important. Lack of knowledge. This is a big one. The reason why it's a big one. Lack of knowledge is a big one because a lot of people think knowledge is power. Meaning, I can just learn a whole bunch of shit and my business is going to pop. I can learn a bunch of shit, my business is going to pop. Hell to the no. Knowledge is potential power. Knowledge is potential power. Remember that. Knowledge is not power. Knowledge is potential power, which means it has the ability to be a tool used to be powerful along with practice and execution, but it's not power by itself. Remember that. Knowledge is like bullets. You can have a fucking pocket full of bullets in your pocket, but it does you no good if you don't put them in a clip and you don't cock that thing back and you don't squeeze. That you have to do the other things for that to be effective. Same with knowledge. With knowledge, you have to execute, practice, try, execute, fail, practice, try again, execute, fail, and keep until you tweak the knowledge that you have and integrate it with your actions in order for that knowledge to be useful. Period. Knowledge is just like bullets, knowledge is incredibly important. The more you read, the more you absorb, the more you learn, make the more potential power that you have. The more potential power that you have. So it's imperative for you to continue to gather knowledge.
How does Hope define knowledge? Because I think it's different than, like, when we hear that word, people could take that different ways. How do we define knowledge here?
So if I say, you guys, listen, if you want to continue to grow and be successful as an entrepreneur, you need to meditate. And here's why meditation is important. There's over 14,000 studies of scientists that say the benefits, intellectual, mental, spiritual, calming, even healing of meditation. And it is a direct correlation with your success if you meditate. Now, that's an easy sentence to spew off my mouth. It's easy for you to understand, right? So if in casual conversation, you guys are talking business, entrepreneurship, and you can easily say that to someone else. Really? 14,000? Wow, damn, you're knowledgeable, you're smart. That's crazy. Really? Okay, cool. And now you know of, like, I just gave you a nugget, right? That's what we consider knowledge. But you're not actually executing it. You're not applying the knowledge. You're not applying the knowledge. So we're talking knowledge and power. Our goal is power for you, not knowledge. Knowledge, like, we don't want everybody walking around with hella hope words, sounding hella important, and that's it. The hope words are for you to apply those into your life and get benefit. That's where the power is. So it's not the knowledge that's important, it's the power. So I define knowledge the same way a lot of people define it. You read a book, you get knowledgeable. But are you powerful? Are you powerful? Man, let me tell you, I've had conversations. Halfway through the motherfucking conversations, I want to run out the room and go apply it. Oh, shit, what? Oh, God, I'm out. No, let me finish. Because it hit me. I got it. I see dollar signs at that point. So I'm ready to go. Because you telling me don't do me no good if I don't apply it. You telling me is the start. You telling me is the beginning of the power. The power is in the bang. You see what I'm saying? The power is in the bang and the aftermath of the execution of the knowledge. That's the mindset we got to get into. Imagine if that mindset was adopted, where knowledge is the beginning. Give it to me. Okay, what is it? All right, I'm thirsty. I'm hungry for knowledge. I'm hungry for knowledge. Only because for the purpose of executing it. Up until I taught this class, I read crazy amounts of books and went after it as an entrepreneur. Went after it hard. I never had a language because I never had to speak to anybody about it this whole time. So I would sound like a super hood dude because I didn't have the language to really communicate all the execution and knowledge that was in my head. It wasn't until I started teaching this class where, like, year one, I'm like, y'all seen my progress, right? Because I just didn't have the words. I could do the shit, but I didn't have it wasn't like I had a platform to speak to people about it. It was just go. And I didn't care about telling nobody because I didn't think people would even believe me, and I'd rather show you than tell you. So as we, fortunately, I'm grateful for the platform that I've helped me get better in being able to communicate all the wildness and all the shit that's floating around my head in a way that's palatable for you, so that I can do my best to help you grow. But that's really, to me, that's the goal. Who gives a shit about the talking? Do it. The power's in the doing it.
There's a lot of back and forth, and I think that was excellent that you raised that question, because a lot of people are bringing up the knowledge thing, but I think your point, and there's a whole book called Skin in the Game by Taleb Nasib, and he highlights how we can find too much value because it's lab work, right? You can isolate yourself and your ego, because I think knowledge is power, is really not tactical, it's psychological. Because sometimes you're trying to raise your value by the consumption of knowledge, but you have no impact, or you're disconnecting from reality. You can get lost in the knowledge storm to the point that you're stuck connecting with people, and the thing that makes an entrepreneur amazing is their grounding. So they use knowledge to help them increase their grounding, not to disconnect or to raise their belief of their value. And so that's a huge separation. And so Court's point to illustrate that, I think is on point, which is knowledge by itself. And we in a culture where, what book do you read? But nobody's patterns are changing.
Yo, I could tell. Like any entrepreneur can tell if you integrated it into your life. The listening, man. Some people are good. They can sit there and you can almost get like, oh shit, man. Like early on, we get deep into the class and people be just spitting venom. Well, the cognitive distortion of this and of this, and I was just having a bit of scarcity, but I bring through it and the tension and the this and that. I'm like, damn, you really going for it. In my mind, I'm thinking, she's killing it in the game, multi-millionaire, 100,000, 500,000, maybe, like, because her words is $500,000 words a year. Hey, so let's talk numbers. Well, I haven't started anything yet, or I just got the idea, or I don't have nothing. So it's like, damn. Okay, so let's start with thing number one. Let's apply thing number one, and let it color you. Let's let it color you, and then let's put thing number two into play and let it color you. Because you're gonna be by the time you apply these things, you're gonna be a different color. Because you're being colored by all of these. You can't, once you apply something, you can't unsee it. Like I know some of y'all been traumatized as children. I know I have. And there's certain things in life that I was exposed to or I seen as a child. You can never unsee that shit. It colors you, it changes you. And that's what applying the knowledge does. It colors you. So it ain't even like that's the real, like you become it, that now it's part of you. When I was working in as an engineer, as y'all know, I couldn't learn like everybody else learned because just the way my shit works. So I'm a tactical person. So I had to learn how to engineer robotics and semiconductor shit from a tactical perspective, but I figured out how to do it. And I got raw at it to the point to where they start sending people to me to train. And so he's like, "Where's your book?" I'm like, I don't use the book. It's like, "Well, where's the specs at?" I don't use the specs. Like, I feel it. You feel it? Motherfucker, you feel it? How do you feel a robot? Like, but that was because I had to learn my way. And I don't need the fucking book. Now I know it. I feel it. I've practiced so many times that I know the glitches, the wrong ways, everything, because I immerse myself in it. And that's what we got to do with this shit that we're learning, is immerse ourselves in what we learning. Fuck the conversation. I don't give a shit. That's the icebreaker, right? That's the conversation's the icebreaker. It just knows we speak the same language, but the real shit is in the application. During the retreat last year, there's a sister that came, and I won't bust her out, but I'm super proud of her. Shy, quiet. She's like, can I talk to you for a minute? Just offline. I'm like, sure. So I sit on the couch, and she's like, yeah. So I'm this business, and I don't know what to do. And I was like, okay, well, where you at? Like, and she was like, well, what's your struggle? Well, here's my problems, this and that. And I'm like, all right, well, what's your numbers look like? She's like, I just hit 1 million. I'm like, wait, what? Okay, wait, time out. Say that again? Because she's been doing this shit. She's been working this shit. She's been using this shit. And she like us. The quietest you would have never assumed, you would have never knew. Because she ain't out there talking and preaching about how smart she is. She just quietly taking notes and doing it. So I sound like I'm preaching, be doers of the word and not speakers only. Ain't that Pastor Chris? Is that something? It's somewhere in the Bible. I know it. Be doers of the word and not speakers only. Anyways, people are defensive, emotional damage. Of course, that goes back to unhealed trauma. Lack of introspection. That's a good one. Lack of introspection is at the end of something, at the end of an execution, having an introspection moment and being like, okay, well, what worked? What didn't work? What can I improve? What happened? What pivots? What could I have done better? What's the feedback that I got? And really take it honest.
I was just saying that it doesn't even necessarily have to be at the end. Like, most of my most powerful introspections happen when I'm in the middle of something deep. That's a long process. And if I stopped and waited to the end, there's so many problems or things that I could have solved in that process if I just paused every day and looked and said, these are all of the things on the table. These are all of the different possibilities that I can have. What's the best option to go forward? Because I think tagging it only to, once I finish this, then let me evaluate, when you have so much room to pivot and adjust in the middle if you introspect regularly.
True, it's true too. But introspection is important, and as Black folks and people of color, a lot of times we don't talk introspection. Daily habits. I'm about to go. I can go off on this for 30 minutes. Daily habits. Daily habits, man. But I'm gonna save this one for later, after, because I got some shit to say on that. Not knowing how to respond to changes in the market, that's mental. It's stubbornness. It's cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance a lot of times will have you stuck on a strategy without introspection, and you're gonna ride that till the wheels fall off, right, Kaja? Till the motherfucking wheels fall off. You should see everybody in the crowd going like this. Not knowing how to deal with people. Shit, that's one. Saying, if you're an entrepreneur and you still say, I don't like people, then you're in the wrong business. You gotta change. You gotta change. You gotta learn how to like people. If you're an entrepreneur, you gotta learn how to like people. I used to say that bullshit. It wasn't until I learned how to like people, because that's energy people can feel. And if you don't have a business partner that likes people, then you fucked, because that's energy people can feel. It's going to show up in your product. It's going to show up in your customer service. It's going to show up in everything you do. And so most successful, super successful businesses are of service to people. So you got to be like, what you doing this for? For money? Like, what you doing it for? You got to learn to like people. You got to learn to believe that people are good and that you're here for a purpose and a reason. Lack of mindset, scarcity, that's all mental. That's all mental. That's a bias. Those are mindsets that we're taught as children that we've carried on and continue to tweak to use to our advantage post-surviving whatever traumatic life we had into our adult life and into our business life and into our corporate world as well. If you're too competitive, that's rooted in scarcity. If you're too competitive, it's rooted in scarcity. I gotta get mine because I'm not gonna get it if I don't take. I gotta get. is rooted in scarcity, and eventually you're gonna hit a wall. You're gonna fail. Getting out of your own way, that's psychological, right? A lot of times people on the outside can see how brilliant and how amazing you are. And they, man, if she only knew how amazing she was, you just got to get out of her own way. But when you in your own way, you want to punch yourself in the head because you're like, well, what am I doing? How? How do I get out of my way? If I knew how to get out of my way, I would. Right? But you don't a lot of times. That's why we're going through these tools. That's why this first 6 months is all psychological tools. Customer base is not strategic. Okay, so this is a dog and a wolf thing. So, as an entrepreneur, we have to take responsibility for everything that happens around us. So, that includes our customers' responses. So if the customer base doesn't respond to you in a way that you want, that's on you. That's on you, cuz. So the customer's job is not to be strategic at all. Customers are fickle. They like what they like, when they like it, how they want it, when they want it. They change. This is their favorite today. They gone tomorrow. Like, it's your job as an entrepreneur to learn the habits, the routine, the likes, the dislikes of your customers. Period. And it's not your job. It's not their job. See, we're in the wild here. We're in the wild. So anytime that's like if you see a lion and he's hunting a pack of elk or whatever the animals are, and he's doing his thing, he's quiet, and because lionesses are the ones that hunt, right? She's doing her thing. She's quiet, and she's kneeled down, and she's preparing to attack. And as soon as she attacks, the whole pack of elk scatter. In a non-pattern way, just scatter. And then she says, well, the customer base, they weren't strategic. Like they didn't follow the pattern or that they usually follow, or the strategy that I know that they usually follow. Okay, you just don't eat that night. Your little cubs are gonna go hungry. So it's important as an entrepreneur to you figure it out. You got to adapt. You got to change. You got to do more market research to understand who your customers are and their behavior patterns and how they move. It's your job. It's my job. It's everybody's in here's job. If you're in the corporate world, it's your job to understand the needs of the people below you and above you or your peers and how you can serve them better and respond to where you're almost predictive you're almost predictive. Where they don't even know that they needed some shit. You like, I'm thirsty. Why? Why did I know that you was going to be thirsty? Because I know your behavior. I know you don't eat and you don't drink in the morning at breakfast because you work too much. So then you start working super hard because you immerse yourself in the work. And so soon your IQ starts getting lower and you start getting dehydrated because you haven't drank since last night. So I knew around 11:45 is when your brain finally reminds you that you're thirsty. So I was just waiting for it. That's the real shit, and that's what Steve Jobs did. And I don't like really quoting like the mega stars of business because it's unrealistic. But I remember reading about Steve Jobs and the iPhones without the buttons and why and how that worked. And he was saying, like predicting customer, doing so much market research that he learned that he could take away all those buttons that we liked with the Blackberries and all. He could take away those buttons and create so much simplicity and and predictive behavior in these apps that they prefer it over those Blueberry Buds. And logically, you think, hell no. I like my T-Mobile Sidekick and all that shit. Logically, you think it'd never work, but that's what understanding your customer base is. So that's that one. All right. Any others? Anything else before we move on?
Just, going.
Yo, Court, if you could elaborate on something, you said that you got to learn to like customers, but to tie back to the original point you made, I'm wondering in what ways is not liking people actually a manifestation of something internal?
Good question.
You know what I mean?
So there's micro. Well, let's do it two ways. There's unspoken, unwritten, invisible microaggressions that occur when you have a certain feeling or belief. So, as we're going to talk about later on in tonight's course, beliefs are powerful as fuck. If you believe something, you can alter your own body, your own mind, your own behavior. You can butterfly effect out things in your lives and other people's life based on a belief. Beliefs are powerful. So if you have a belief that causes you to say, I don't like people. If you say, I don't like people, that means there's an underlying belief that says people are bad. People are evil. People hurt me. People this or people that. That's negative connotation. So if you start your business with that energy, it vibrates out to everything you do. Everything you do. Even the microaggressions, all the way down to looking away. Hey, a customer walks in, can I help you? Right? I said the words, can I help you? Right? I articulated the words, can I help you? Like the book said would be good. That's good customer service. But because I don't like people, the energy at which I said it affects. So how many customers walked out because of that? How many customers gave you bad reviews just from that one thing because internally you said, I don't like people and people are bad. So the energy of that flipped around has compounding effects on everything. So think about just from that one situation of can I help you? Think about everything you do. Every customer interaction, every time you get on the phone with a customer, every customer that walks in, and eventually it's going to come out, and there's going to be an event. There's going to be an event. Have you ever seen, there's companies who've benefited a lot from black folks. The owners of companies benefited from black folks, and they've grown and get a lot of black traffic, but they don't like black people. But then there's an event that happens, and in their tension, in their heat of a moment, it comes out. Because shit, that's the way. Now you're done. Because they didn't heal that. They didn't at some point say, I love black people. People are good. People are good. So I think that's really the underlying is the compounding effect of that belief system that you have. And it's good. I guarantee you, it's going to bleed out. It's going to bleed out into your employees if you get some. It's going to bleed out into your designs or your products or your services. Think about this. How hard is it to think of 3 or 4 or 5 layers of excellent customer service to someone if you don't like people? It's way harder to brainstorm and come up with ideas of a multi-tiered approach to customer service, of being hospitable to a customer if you don't like people. Man, you better give them that. They'll be fine, right? No, you lose. Like again, but go back to the networking effect. Like your name, your business, your reputation, that shit's everything. So eventually, that shit's gonna catch up with you. Catch up with you.
This is more or less a question, but just based on the explanations you're giving between psychological and tactical, wouldn't be said that most of this or 100% of that is psychological, because your tactical skills basically are ingrained in where you grow in your psychological state?
Yes and no. But I agree with you, but this was a great exercise for you guys to understand the need, the absolute need for you to work on yourself. Because if you don't work on yourself, your business is going to follow. It's just that true. Now, that's why, people have immersed themselves in certain periods of their life in their development, in reading, in improving, in growing, in healing their trauma, and continuing to try, continuing to work through it. I tried to skate many years I tried to skate off of not having to interact with people. Because I didn't like people. That was what I used to say. I don't like people. But what's dope about it is I'm a designer, so nobody got to see me. And I can have salespeople in the front and this, and I can have Vanessa, who is this. She could talk to my customers for me, and boom, boom, and I can be back in my room, office, whatever, do my shit. So that was my strategy. Because back then, I didn't have a language. I didn't have the language really to even communicate well like that to people. So I sounded too continuation school in my language. So I didn't like being judged for it. I didn't like changing how I dressed and anything. So I'd just be in the cuts. I didn't like people. I'm an introvert. I don't like people. You can only get so far. You hit a limit. You hit a limit. And so you have to work through that. When I start going with Nana to Seattle, I start working on the shit. Cause especially with white people, I'm just gonna talk to this white person and ask her how her day is, cause I need to work on this shit. Hey, how's your day? How was your day? How are you? Hello. I'm dead serious. Shit was hard. I'm in the elevator because my first brain is like, she gonna fucking clutch her purse, because that's what my brain tells me. So before she clutches her purse to protect my own ego, I'm gonna get an attitude. I don't know, you ain't got shit that I want anyway. I'm moving with that energy. She may not even be thinking about it. But I'm moving with that energy, and I move with that with every interaction that I see. I just moved with that. So then I built that story. I don't like people. I see another black man. I hadn't broke the cycle of not mugging each other when we walk by. That's just something I was caught in a culturescape of from being a teenager. Oh, you trying to test me or something? You think I'm a mark? Think I'm a punk? Well, I'm gonna stare at you until you look away, motherfucker. So you got my own people, you got racism, and you got the judge in your brain. You're creating all these stories. So the belief I created was I don't like people. But really, it was I had so much insecurity within myself that I had to change that belief system in order for me to thrive. And people are, how the hell do I want to be a purpose-driven company, live with a purpose, and I don't like people? That don't make no sense. So,
Court, first of all, thank you for sharing your personal story, because I think that answered a lot of people question that we had online. But I wonder, and we never discussed this, so I'm lobbing it up in the air. And you being an intelligent man, I'm assuming either you swat it back or you dive into it. But I question, and it's a personal theory. I don't want to suggest I've been pulling data on this one. Is that we're going through a culture that is focused on what life should be and it won't accept the way the life really is. And until we accept what life like if you accept people for who they really are, life for what it really is, I think it's easier to find the beauty in it and enjoy people. I think it's highly frustrating when you walk through life and saying people should, whether it's white people should do this, black people should do this, Asian community should do this, right? So I think in this modern social justice world, we're really amplifying the idea of the way the world should be. We watch television. It says this is the way the world should be. We're on social media, and we're arguing this is the way the world should be. But yet, many of us have never dealt with the conflict of the way the world really is.
Yes. Let's talk dog and wolf again. It's as societies get to spaces where they become weaker, most of that comes from layers upon layers of making excuses and convenience. So once you hit that cognitive distortion about should, then you're at a place of fairness. You think you're at a place of right and wrong and fairness. So that should statement is it basically becomes your jailer. It becomes your jailer because the moment you think you should do this or you should do that, you're losing the power within yourself and placing it in the hands of another person, and they may or may not execute what you think they should do. So now you're stuck because you gave your power away. And a lot of us give our power away all the time just by should statements. The government should do this. The white man should do that. So once you say should, you're sitting waiting. All right, well, so all I can do is say should again. Hey, you should do this, right? Hey, you should do that because you just made yourself completely impotent. Even if you say I should, it still is a weakening statement to you because it suggests, it's a subtle suggestion of failure versus I want to. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. Okay, well, let's do it. Let's do it. I want to is an empowering word. I should is a weakening word. True statement. Being comfortable with truth is one of the biggest empowering things that you can do as a human. Being able to tell yourself, I'm not good enough today. Shit, I sucked today. I was 3 on a scale of 1 to 10 today. Like all the things that are rooted in truth, man, you know how powerful you can be because now you start calibrating your brain. So the thing about truth that has an amazing effect on your brain. Your brain starts getting in true calibration. Have you ever took a thermometer or you took temperature or you did anything and it was way off? It's because it wasn't calibrated. It wasn't calibrated. So a lot of times you have a solution that you stick it in and that tells the thing that's zero, and you calibrate it. Boom. So now every time you do it, it's accurate. Well, we don't have any form of calibration. A lot of times, you have to be able to self-calibrate. You have to be able to calibrate. Oh shit, that wasn't. I always be like, because when I was a kid, I wanted to be a rapper. That was my fucking my exit strategy. That was my success plan because I didn't have college shit going. I didn't have no skill set. So I was like, this rap shit is for me. But I'd be like, yeah, I was a failed rapper. And they'd be like, don't say that. Don't say that. Don't be nice to yourself. No, you didn't fail. You just didn't get enough exposure. No, motherfucker, like I was a failed rapper. That shit don't hurt my feelings because you fail at shit. Like, people are afraid to say that word. But if you get comfortable with failure, you know it's not an end all. You just, if I wanted to do it, I'd keep doing it. But I sucked. And I wasn't good enough. Yeah, I don't know none of my raps. So obviously that shit wasn't good enough. That's the point. Once you can laugh and get comfortable with yourself at failure, now your ability to catapult yourself to where you want to be is much higher because your brain has a calibration point. If you lying to yourself all the time, your brain don't know what to do. Your brain can't help you go in the direction that you're going in because it hears all the shit you say. So if you broke as fuck and you go to that night or the next night somewhere and they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? You're like, oh, man, I'm doing great. I'm doing big things. Shit is popping off. And your brain's like, oh, okay, shit, we cool then. And then you go home and you depressed again, you crying, well, how come my life ain't going? Because you throwing your brain through a tizzy. You don't know what the fuck like, you motherfucker, you told me I heard you was blowing up and doing big things. So I'm thinking things is cool. Your brain is listening to you. And it acts in accordance to what you need and what you ask for. It's making things happen in your body and your mind right now that you don't even know. It's pumping blood through your heart. Whatever cuts and scrapes you got, it's out there, it's healing it right now. It's sending troops to heal that shit right now. Your hair is growing right now without you even consciously thinking about it. So, all right. Let's get started. That was dope. Was that dope? Let's get started. Let's talk Code of Extraordinary Mind. All right. So if you haven't start diving into this book and reading it yet, I suggest you do. So we're gonna talk chapters 3 through 4, 5-ish tonight. But this book, start reading. If you haven't started reading it yet, read it. Or listen to it through the audiobook. But this is the book that we're going through in these slides. And this is the book that can absolutely help set the foundation and reframe you and build your foundation in a way that you can start really striving. So understand, the book is called The Code of the Extraordinary Mind. So an extraordinary mind can do extraordinary things. So the goal is not to live a mediocre-ass life, basic-ass life, regular-ass life. It's live an extraordinary life. And it's possible. It's possible. There's people out there in a space around you that live extraordinary lives, amazing lives. Doesn't mean perfect lives or lives that constantly go up and never go down, or lives where people never have falls or hurt. No, it's just the overall course of the life. When you look back, you're like, wow, that was amazing. Extraordinary life. And it's possible for you. It is possible for you to live an extraordinary life. Absolutely. It's no bullshit. Now, this author, Vishen, this dude is not perfect. He's not no guru. He's not a know-all, be-all, see-all. Everything in his book is not bulletproof. But the theories and strategies in that book are if adhered to, are completely life-changing. Completely life-changing. A quick story. I met this dude personally, right? On my journey for when I was cashing out, going to all these seminars and all these personal development classes and all these seminar. I went to one seminar and he was a special guest, right? So then you got to pay for the VIP to go after the event to chill with him and ask some personal questions, right? So I paid my money because I wanted to ask dude questions. So I'm, after the thing, I run to the bathroom to wash my hands and get ready to go meet the dude. And I walk into the bathroom, and this dude turns around. He didn't see me, and he looks up to me. He's like, hella scared. Like, bro, I laughed, like, almost like, it's good, don't trip, but he was almost shitting his pants, right? So I wash my hands, and I go in the thing, and that's the dude, Vishen. So I'm like, oh, shit, you was that scary motherfucker in the bathroom. So, all right. So we go through the thing. And so we go around and we start asking questions. So I asked questions and whatever. And then after the thing was over, I went up there because he gave his signed book, right? He signed a book and gave it to everybody. So he signed my book and wrote me like a little letter. And so we started laughing about the bathroom shit. So then we became like cool. Then we became friends on Facebook, right? Facebook friends and like, going back and forth lightly. And then the Trump thing happened. And he lost it, right? He started losing it. Like, this isn't fair. Trump is bad, this and that. I'm like, yo, bro, like, you blowing up now. You can't be talking like that. And he just had a moment, right? And I'm like, you got to understand. So I'm giving him game. You got to understand the position you're in. Like, it's not, like, you're not, like, in a corner now. We go back and forth. He unfriends me. He unfriended me. Like, no, I'm gonna push my line, and this is my line. I can't say it damaged his brand or not. That's not the point. It is, but the point is, people can do amazing things and write amazing works and still be human. That's it. And what we a lot of times as black folks do, we don't separate the game from the person. We could get all kind of good game, and if we find out a person's flaws, we ain't fucking with them no more. He's still brilliant to me. His book is still amazing to me. He's a great human to me. Because people are human. So we gotta, like, a lot of times us black, we gotta stop being so judgmental of the message and the messenger. Like, because there's some things in here that you may completely be anti your religious beliefs or whatever it is. You got to be open to at least let that information pass through. Because if you don't, then now you just stuck in your own culture scape. You can't get out. Like, have you ever lost your keys? And you say, I looked everywhere, right? I looked everywhere. You couldn't never find it. So you chalk it to the game. You go get a new key or whatever, and then months later or whatever, you find that key completely somewhere else, way away from where everywhere was, in your car, at your job, somewhere else. You didn't look everywhere. You looked in your culture scape. So a lot of times we trying to grow as entrepreneurs, make more money, be more successful, be more happy, have better relationships, be in shape, but we looking inside our culture scape when the shit is already there. Like, we already where everything is. The culture scape is what got us here. But we don't want to go outside our culture scape. I don't fuck with that, or I don't listen to that, or that's not my belief, or that's some weirdo shit. All the weirdo shit is where your next level of success is. What you consider weirdo shit right now is next level success. Just keeping it 100. So dive deep in the book. You ain't, like, discuss the shit that you don't agree with. To talk about it, but don't ignore it. Don't let it pass through you. Don't be judgmental about it, because it might be the tool you need to help you go to the next level. So, next slide. Is that good keyword? Next slide. So we're at the chapter now of conscious engineering. Would you like to read? Yeah.
Sure. Conscious engineering, an operating system for the human mind. And the beauty of it is that, like the best hacks, it's really simple. It all boils down to just two things.
Okay. So there's two biases that are out there. It's complication bias and simplicity bias, right? Life is about things that are complicated and are super simple, not one or the other. Not one or the other. A lot of times, we'll get caught up in wanting the complicated stuff, because the complicated stuff, we feel like that's the level that we're at. And all the bigger things in life, the next level in life, the blowing up has to be in the complicated stuff. It has to be. Because I'm so smart that it can't be anywhere below me or down in the simple stuff, because I'm too smart for that. It has to be outside of my level of current knowledge and understanding and intellectual capabilities, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to continue to seek the super complicated and ignore the simple. So that's what a lot of us do. And you have these, like, you only want to have intellectual conversations, only. But also, major success in life is in the super simple. Major breakthroughs is in the super simple. Super basic, super simple. It's the truth. So it's both. So your goal and your job is to seek both. Not ever be afraid of the intellectual smoke. Never. Never be afraid of the intellectual smoke. That's a shirt, Charlize. Don't be afraid of the intellectual smoke. Shit, what'd you just say? Fuck, I only heard the words the and. Let me say it again. Write it down for me. Okay, I got to read it again. There's books that I've read 4 times in a row. There's books I read 4 times in a row. First time, completely didn't get it. Second time, read it again. It was like another language. But I was determined because I wanted that intellectual smoke. And on the flip side of that, there was things that were so simple, I just brushed it off. It came, yep, all right, that's for the little people. That's for the little people. Next year came back around, it can't be for me because I got that. So, and then certain times I was in a space, maybe I hit rock bottom. Maybe I got humbled. Maybe life humbled me. And so in a humble space, you're way more open to all these things and synchronicities, and you listen better when you hit rock bottom. And that same thing passes by, and now it makes you cry because it's so profound. Oh man, this is it. This is it right here. And then you apply it, and your life gets better. And it's been in your fucking face the whole time. Basic shit. 1 + 2 = 3. Whoa. The whole other time, because you was in your high-sedity space, your complicated space, you was like, nah, yeah, that's for the little people. It's both, though. Remember that. You're seeking both. So sometimes in this book, I say that to say that some of the things in this book are super basic for profound changes in your life, for major growth, for success, big money, the whole shit. And some of those tools are so basic, so easy, you overlook them. It's nothing like, man, what is he talking about? Gratitude, attitude, daily gratitude? What? Shit. You cannot do your daily gratitude if you want to. I do. You cannot do it if you want to. Because it's so basic and easy. Like, give me the intellectual stuff. That's the real. So remember, the nuggets are both on both sides. Let's go to the next slide.
So your models of reality are your hardware, and your systems for living are like your software.
Right. So conscious engineering is separated into two spaces: your hardware, your software. So if you think about it like a computer, like you are a computer, you have hardware, things that are fixed, they can't change. There's fans, there's CPUs, there's keyboards, there's monitors, there's memory, there's certain things that are hardwired into the computer that can't change. That basically creates a space for your software, right? So let's go to the next slide. It's going to talk about models of reality.
So models of reality, your beliefs create your reality. They either empower you or disempower you. If your belief isn't serving you or is outdated, you must swap your beliefs like you swap cell phones.
Okay, so think about this. Your hardware is still created by your brain. So your hardware is created in your brain as well. It's created by your beliefs. So your beliefs are akin to hardware, a belief. So that's why we say beliefs are so powerful, because once you believe something, so it is. It's it. And your whole life changes and bends and evolves around that belief. So it's not just people are bad. It's all the beliefs that you have create your hardware. Remember that. And that, like, don't forget that. Don't forget that. Because the beauty of that is if you remember that your hardware is part of your belief system, and you also understand that your beliefs and your belief system can change at any moment, it gives you power. Because if your life ain't working, or shit ain't popping off how you want it to pop off, or if you're going down a wrong route, what you need to do is shift your beliefs, change your beliefs. Ask yourself the question, I looked everywhere. Did I really look everywhere? Did I really look everywhere? My brain is telling me everywhere, but did I really look everywhere? No, I just looked in this house. Did I look in the path to the car? Did I look in the car? Did I look at work? Did I look at the gym? Did I look at my coats? Did I look at my jacket? Soon the world starts becoming malleable to you, where you can bend it, move it, create it, change it. You don't listen to the whims of the motherfucking world. Like, you don't own me. Remember when, did you ever say, you're not my daddy? You're not my mama? I say that to the world. I choose whether or not I want to move on anything because it runs through a filter. So it says, if your belief isn't serving you or is outdated, you must swap your beliefs like you swap cell phones. Meaning, if you still got the iPhone 4, and we like this now, we 13 or 14, it's certain apps that you can't even run. You're like, wait, I want to play too. No, you can't even, your hardware ain't even built to run this app. So at this point, I can't download the software. You can't force the the iPhone to download software, you have to get a new phone. You got to get a new phone. So once you get into that space where you ain't married to your beliefs, is this belief working for me? Throw it in the garbage. Gone. I don't know about you, but like I like collecting my shit. So like I have a closet where it's like iPhone 4, iPhone 5, iPhone 6, iPhone 7, 8. So you see the evolution of the iPhone. And you thought the iPhone 1 was super raw. You look at that thing now, it looks like it's whack looking. That's the same with your beliefs. Like right now, you think your beliefs right now are the best thing smoking because your brain is telling you you won because you survived. It's like it's telling you you won because you survived. But really, stepping outside of your beliefs, the winning is whether or not it's working for you in the moment. Is it working for you in your life? That's the key. That's the key differentiation. Is it working for you? Yes, I survived. Thank you for helping me survive. I got it. But I want to thrive. I want to win. I want an extraordinary life now. That shit helped me live, right? It helped me survive. But I want an extraordinary life now. How do I get an extraordinary life? Man, you got to swap out your old beliefs. If I say, that's a bad idea, yo. You ask me my opinion? That idea sucks. Whew. Stop. Do not do anything else. Have you started? An NBA player, I hope nobody knows this dude. NBA player and his girlfriend came to my office one day, and he was like, hey, my girl wants to start a clothing line. I want you to give her some game. Cool. So we sit down, and she shows me all her shit, her logo, and everything. What do you think? That ain't it. That is not it. Like, we got to start, revisit this. You know, we go over like branding and brand messaging and all this stuff. And I'm like, in order to get to the logo part, let's start with the brand. And he was like, I could tell he was like shaking his head, like, and she was looking at me like she just saw a ghost. And I'm like, what? He's like, well, what if I already spent like $10,000? I'm like, it's going to be a lot of homeless people walking around with your shit on. I'm just keeping it 100. So they let me finish, giving them the game, and she was like, I'm gonna make it. She had the attitude like, I'm gonna make it happen anyway. Like, I'm gonna show you, which I think is dope. And I hope she does. But I know for her to show me, she's gonna improve. She's gonna change. She's gonna switch up. If she's gonna grow, but so I don't mind being the muse to get her ego cracking so that she can make shit better. I hope she does, but I'm keeping it 100. I'm gonna keep it 100, and we gotta be comfortable in them spaces to race to that. So the moral of this story is that the beauty of beliefs, as hardwired as they are, you could toss them. You'll hear Nana, me say this all the time. I'm not married to my belief. I can believe something hardcore too. Hardcore. And I'll go to war with you on it. Battle with you. And if you win the battle, I change. Period. I call it upgrading my software. I just upgraded my software. Because I'm not trying to, it's not about right and wrong or winning and losing. It's we go to war to see what dies, literally. And when two beliefs go to war, one belief is going to die on that battlefield. Me and Nana do it all the time. I love it. Because it only helps me get better. I don't give a fuck about my belief. I don't give a shit. Listen, I've been atheist, Christian, Buddhist, Hindu. I've been them all. I've been them all, literally. Because I want to grow. I want to get better. I want to find what works for me, not what was right. I don't even care about that. I want to find what works. If a customer's not happy, I told this story every year too, is we changed to when Courtney didn't like people, customer comes, this was a mistake. I need you to fix this. This is your mistake. My mistake? Okay. Let's go. So I'll spend 30 minutes email diving to find a string of fucking emails to show him that it was his mistake. Okay, look, on this date, you said this. I said this. Then you said, can I please have this, this, and this? And that's what we gave you. So if you fucked up, you don't get what you fucked up, not me. I won that. I'm right. We did it to a customer who spent 40 G's on us in a year. Spent 40 G's on us. He said, hey, these 4 uniforms, which equates to like $200, you forgot to order these 4 uniforms, which equates to $200. I'm gonna say it again. He's a $40,000 a year customer. Me and my account manager, we went to town, finding emails. Okay, there's that string. So then she was like, so per the last email, you wanted this and this and that, and So, if you want to pay for your 4 uniforms, you can. He was like, all right, bye y'all. See y'all later. Fuck y'all. I'm out. Never seen him again. Never seen him again, ever. We need to change our beliefs. We need to become a hospitality company. We need to engage in high quality customer service and weigh our customers on different scales. If he's a $40,000 a year customer, fuck that little $200. Yep, we'll get it going for you. I don't even admit fault no more. If I weigh it and it's a little $100 this, $100 that, I don't even say whether he's right or I'm wrong. We on it. We on it. Got you. Here you go. Sometimes I do that, and then they be like, damn, I just saw the email. I did that. That's my bad, bro. Oh, yeah, here. Like, and you was going to do it? Yeah, I ain't tripping off that. Now, if you only spent $100 with me, we ain't having that conversation. But understand the power of right and wrong. Upgrade the system. Let's go to the next one. Okay, so in the book, it talks about a couple examples. Our brains are amazing. Our brains are amazing. And my goal is to do this in the least woo-woo way possible, because I'm a woo-woo motherfucker. You know I am. So I don't want to get deep into that side of the world, but I want you to understand that our brains are amazing. And us as humans only know a micro percentage of what our brains are actually capable of. So in my spiritual world and all that, there's things that I can't unsee, right? That I believe exist, that I believe that I hold to this day, right? Some of those things scientists call the placebo effect. They love being able to like word something like that. That's placebo effect. But scientists can't explain how it works at all. You ask them, okay, well, how does this placebo effect work? They silent, and they'll admit to you, well, we don't know how it works. We just know that we have to calculate a certain percentage in for placebo, because some humans are so amazing in their belief system that when they believe something, that can actually change their physical body. So in these 2 examples, it talked about people who worked in hotels who cleaned hotel rooms. Simple, stupid example. They cleaned hotel rooms, and scientists asked them, hey, do you exercise? And they're like, no, I don't got time to. I'm always working, this and that. So they took a percentage of those same women and pulled them aside and left the rest to do what they do and said, hey, so check this out. You know that cleaning hotel rooms burns calories, right? So that's a form of exercise, especially since you're doing this all day. And they're like, really? Yeah, look, this is how many calories you burn exercising. Did you know that that group of women started losing weight? And their bodies changed? Once they locked into a belief, the brain is powerful. The brain is powerful. I mean, there's another example in the book where scientists or a doctor took a whole bunch of patients that needed knee surgery, right? So he took the patients that needed knee surgery, maybe 10, I forget, I think it was 10 patients. He only performed the actual surgery on 2 and just put the incisions in the knee on the rest of them, like it was a surgery. And most of those felt healed. That's doctors and scientists. So there's tons of examples of the placebo effect. But really, in actuality, what it is your brain is a powerful muscle, and its ability to heal you, change you, dramatic effects on your body once you form a particular belief. I've read books written from psychologists and psychiatrists about extreme schizophrenic patients. And in extreme cases, there are schizophrenic patients who have multiple personality disorders, and when they switch personalities, those personalities had different diseases. So I say that to say there's so much we don't know about the mind and the brain and the power of beliefs, but the shit is real. So you got to use your beliefs to your advantage, and you got to watch the ones that are disempowering to you, that are negative to you. If you have beliefs that I'm too anything, it's detrimental to you. I'm too small, I'm too fat, I'm too skinny, I'm too stupid, I'm too old, I'm too young, I'm not this enough, I'm not that enough. All of those send that vibration in your brain, and you lock in on those beliefs, and it limits you. It becomes your hardware. This is the foundational stuff that we're talking about. 6 months from now, when I'm not sitting here and Nana's going crazy, spitting all that high-level shit, if you don't have this foundational knowledge and you haven't really made the shifts foundationally, it's going to go right over your head. Or you're going to absorb all this knowledge and not even be able to use it, and just be able to use it as a parlor trick at parties. Period. In the mental models book that he gonna go through, that shit is so much game. Oh my God. So much game. And you could you can get a raise just with that spitting them peas from that book. You get a raise. But in order for it to absorb, you need your own flashpoint. You see what I'm saying? You need your own flashpoint. And in order for you to have your own flashpoint, you got to change your beliefs. So that's all I'm going to say on the placebo effect, because I can go crazy on this. But understand, I want you to move on from this slide realizing that you have unlimited power inside of you and your ability to change and your ability to grow. I'm sitting here as a living example, because y'all know my story. I done came basically from like hell. And a lot crack with one parent, cult with another, disowned by both. So basically I had to recreate myself based on all the trauma. Like, I don't. My goal is to get away from talking about this shit a lot, but I want to say this because I want to remove your excuses and the power of this. I dove into this shit. Once I saw that this area existed, meaning, damn, you mean I could change? You mean I could be different? Yeah, you can. There's so much books, so much knowledge in books that you can. I dove in head first and never looked back. And the me that was me then, it's crazy. It's crazy. So it's possible for you. You just have to let go of your beliefs. You're not going to go crazy. I thought for a minute, I was like, man, if I keep changing and growing, what if I lose myself? What if I lose who I am? Listen, you ain't going nowhere. I promise you. But the better version of you can show up every iteration, every book, every download. If you listen with the intent to apply it. Period. It's people who listen with the intent to, like, let me see what this motherfucker talking about. All right, well, shit, okay. It's a completely different experience. If you listen to, like, what nugget can I extract to apply in my life right now? What nugget can I extract to apply? Some people listen just to, like, feel-good moments. Oh, shit, that's it. Oh, man, that feels good. Oh, that's game right there. And have no intent of doing shit with it. But, like, understand this shit can change. It can change you. And the stories are only for perspective. So you understand the power of this. It's real. Let's move on. Systems for living.
Your habits or systems for living are how you put your models of reality into practice. If models of reality are the hardware of the human machine, systems for living are the software.
Keep going.
They're your activities and daily habits. For example, how you eat based on your beliefs about nutrition, how you work based on your beliefs about what kind of career and work behaviors are acceptable, and how you deal with money based on your beliefs about the ease of acquiring money or the guilt or honor of having lots of it.
Okay, so this answers the brother's question too earlier, even deeper. If you look at it as your beliefs are the root in the root of the tree, and you look at your systems for living as the fruit, as the leaves, as the stems, then you'll see that your beliefs dictate your actions, your moves, your behavior, period. And it has an absolute effect on the fruit. So your systems for living, those are your software. That's the software that you put into your hardware. The software comes from your hardware. It can't move in any direction outside of what your hardware is capable of delivering, period. So what you eat is determined around your beliefs around eating. If you have a belief that says, I don't have no self-control, and you go knowing that you want to be conscious around what you eat, or you want to work on your health or whatever, every time you get around a situation where you have a situation where you overeat or eat something that you know isn't good for you, your body, it migrates to that thought, and that's where you go. So it affects your behavior. So then you eat that shit. Then you eat it, and your body responds, and now you're more overweight, and you look in the mirror, and it reaffirms your belief. And the more you reaffirm your belief, the stronger and bigger the belief gets. So if I have a belief that black people can't get ahead because we are oppressed, if that's my belief, then when you're working hella hard or you going after something, and you in the ninth inning and it's midnight and you working super hard and you can't see the light on the other side of what you're working for, and you're not being affirmed by the crowd or people or customers, and it's just you in the dark working on your project, and you've been working on it for a long time, guess what's gonna happen? Your brain is gonna say, what the fuck am I doing this for anyway? The white man presses you anyway. Ain't gonna let you do my thing anyway. Think about that. Your beliefs dictate your behavior. So a lot of times, that's why we talk about a lot of these self-help seminars don't work well. Why don't they work well? Because they focus only on the software, never the hardware. Hey, if you want to change your life, you gotta go from left to right, left to right, left. Don't go left anymore. Go right, go right, go right, go right. From now on, go right. Well, if my subconscious mind tells me that going left, I'll survive, and if I go right, I'll die. I don't care how many times I jump up and down, how many affirmations I say, I'm gonna go left. And then you feel like a failure because all the shit that they told you don't work. But it's software shit. This first 6 months is about your hardware. The software shit's gonna come. And then the strategy and the data is gonna help take you to the next level. But you gotta work on your beliefs, and the software, the behavior is your canaries in a cage for you. Because a lot of times we move in so many blind spots. We like, I want to change, but I don't know what to change. I know my life ain't working for me, but I don't know what to do. I don't know where to start. Look at your behavior. Look at your behavior. Watch how you move. Watch the little details in how you move. All the micro details, the microaggressions, the internal stuff people can't see. Hey, how you doing today, Charlize? Oh, I'm doing good. Good to see you. I ain't seen you in a long time. What's been up with you? Man, I just got this account and landed me $700,000. What? Congratulations. Congratulations. Hey, give it here. Come here. Maybe she can't see that. But internally, you're on fire because you're like, why not me? Why not me? A lot of times, if you're not conscious and you're not working on yourself, you just move on to the next. But if you're determined to work on yourself, your introspection says, what the fuck was that? Why did what? I mean, I'm still lightweight jealous. I still got jealousy in my space. I need to work on that jealousy. Let me grab my journal. Let me write. And work. What's going on? Why am I jealous? Because I feel a scarcity. I feel like there's not enough. I feel like almost like there's a pie, and if somebody gets the big piece of the pie, I'm not going to have a lot left. And you just go through that to realize, damn, this is my belief. Now let me counter that. Let me work on that. I'm gonna physically every time I'm gonna work on I'm gonna be overjoyed till I feel the feeling. So I'm gonna work so that over time you're genuinely happy for people. Man, where's my competition up? Let me turn my competition down a little bit because it's too much. Because I can't be happy for my family, my brothers and my sisters like that. I don't work. So I want to be genuinely happy. There's a story about Oprah Winfrey. I don't know, some of you guys may know this, but she had read this book. Oprah Winfrey is a crazy manifester. Y'all know that. So when she was younger, she read this book. Book was so amazing. She read it like 6, 7 times. She had a whole bunch of other copies. She bought a whole bunch of copies, gave them to her friends to read. She was obsessed with this book. She gets the call to do this casting. They don't tell her what the movie is or nothing. She just gets a call. When she gets the script, she starts reading it, and she knows it's from her book. Like, see, the universe is so dope. See how the universe works for me? And she knows it. So in her mind, it's a done deal. So what ends up happening is she does the thing. She thinks she kills it. She's waiting for the universe to finish doing its thing, and she don't hear no calls back. She don't hear no calls back. None. So she calls the casting director and like, yo, I just want to check on this part. They're like, you're not supposed to call us. That's against the way things work. You don't call it. Plus, you're an unknown actor. We're right now going through real female actresses right now. So she hangs up. Her meaning-making machine, as we talked about last week, says, maybe I'm too fat. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not no real actor and I'm tripping. Oh, fuck, my life is horrible. So what she does is she schedules herself to go to a fat farm. So she goes to this fat farm. And I think they told her, one of the actresses, I think it was Cicely Tyson or somebody, that was going for her part. So she's running on the track at this fat farm. And at first she's like, fuck that bitch, Cicely Tyson. If she get the part, I'm not even going to the movies. I'm not telling nobody to go. Like, that was my shit. Running around the track. But as she's running around the track, she's like, you know what? If I don't get the part wasn't for me because I gave my best. And God bless Cicely Tyson. If she gets the part, I'm going to be happy for her. I'm not going to go see it, but I'm going to be happy for her. And she continues to run. And then she's like, you know what? No, you know what? I'm going to go see it because I'm happy for her. She's a sister like me. And it's her part if she gets it, and I'm happy for her. As soon as she said that, somebody ran down and said, hey, you got a phone call. She runs up and grabs the phone. It was Steven Spielberg. And he was like, yo, if you lose any more weight, you ain't getting this part. And gave it to her. So, power of changing beliefs changes the trajectory, the vibration of who you are. You feel me? All right, let's move.
Nobody taught us optimal ways to exercise, love, parent, eat, or even to speed read or improve longevity. I think of them like apps you can easily download and update, intended for specific purposes or to solve specific problems. Not working? Download the new version that fixes old bugs. Found a better one? Delete.
Hey, this is as real as it gets. All the shit that we do, somebody else made up. Somebody thought of it. Some human made it up. Some human. Some other human, probably not smarter or better than you, made it. And it's just been passed down and turned into hardware. Like, stop hero worshiping your beliefs. They just apps. That's it. They just apps. Every belief is just an app that you can decide. This isn't at any point saying to disown your religion or to keep it. It's not. It's saying just know this. The church you went to, somebody just thought it up. It was an idea in some man's head. It's the truth. You get offended, you can be mad, but it was just an idea in some guy's head thousands of years ago. thousands of years ago. So you can choose it, but it gotta work for you. But don't choose it because that's just how you was raised, or you was brought up that way, or don't do that. You're not at that. You're not a progressive entrepreneur. You stuck in your culture scape and you fucked basically. You're gonna look the same next year. It gotta work for you. Same thing how we choose our mates, relationships. It's like somebody made it up. Like you gotta respect the lesbian gay culture. They broke that culture scape and said this is how we get down, and we gonna get down how we want to get down, and we don't give a fuck. Like that is they broke the culture scape and normalized their lifestyle to the masses. And this is something that was fundamental. Relationships, marriage, a man and a woman, kid, that's fundamental. They were like, no, we want to normalize our shit. And we doing it. And now, half of you motherfuckers got to tell people your gender pronouns in meetings on Zoom. Think about it.
When you guys first started saying, I change my beliefs all the time, I don't care, I ain't tied to nothing, I could just drop it. I thought that was the most insane shit I had ever heard in my life. I never said that to y'all, I'm telling you now. Because at the time I felt like, no, your beliefs they mean everything. Right? You stand on that. You stand on what you believe. And so if you just update them and you don't care, then who are you, really? At the time, I felt like that. And so I was like, I don't know about this whole thing about like just I toss them out, like whatever, poof, be gone. I don't know. That seems weird as hell to me. It did. It did. I didn't get that at all. But what I wanted to say was, one, absolutely, because my beliefs are just habits of thought. It's just the way I've thought about things. They're not me. They're not me. And the other thing I wanted to say was the practice of updating my beliefs, because it felt crazy to kind of go in and start dismantling my world like that. So I just started small for me, right? I didn't try to like attack the biggest things because quite honestly, it was too disruptive, and I would just back away from it every time I would look at it. So I started with small things like, okay, I'm not this, I'm not that, I can update. And so the habit of like getting rid of my beliefs became less scary for me. But I do want to say that the first time, especially Nana was like, I ain't tied to nothing. I just whatever I felt, and he's a person who stands so strongly on things. And then he'd be like, whatever, it's over. And I was like, I don't know how you exist in a world like that. That just seems so disruptive to like any sort of continuity in your life. But I did want to say, like, this concept, for me, it was disruptive in a good way. But I started with like, how can I start to get reps in with this practice? Because, and I'm not gonna try to take them all, and I'm not gonna look at like the biggest things. Like some things were harder for me to kind of do, and some of them I had to like kind of like take a forkful at a time, right? But the behavior of updating your data, to borrow from Mashama in his physical absence, but this practice of your beliefs are not you, that they're just the way that you've been thinking, that whatever you've been doing is just something somebody thought. Like, that was a missile for me. It was not like a yippee-yi-yo-ki-yay. For me, that was like, what do you mean? Like, I've been doing all these things, and now you just telling me, oh, well? Not, oh, well. So I just wanted to put that out there. Like, my experience of it was like, start here, and then another one, and then another one, and then the idea of the fact that I'm not my beliefs becomes a lot less frightening, and then you'll actually do it and continue to do it.
Yeah, that's so real. I mean, you talking about that bromance shit, like with Nana, that's kind of where we started our bonding, right? When we first discovered that, and I was like, well, where'd you come up to that conclusion? Well, where'd you come up to that conclusion? Because you came from two different routes, but we got to that same behavior pattern of not being tied. So then when we go at it, this ain't gonna be about winning the argument or being right or wrong. This is about upgrading software. So I gotta give you all my shit, and you gotta give me all yours. And sometimes we can't get there. Sometimes they gotta do it again to really, because what I love about that, real talk, it's a almost sure way to help keep your business alive. I can never count Nana out. We can go at it, and I'm like, all right, believe that shit if you want to. You fucked. Because I've been there before, and I didn't have the words to articulate it, because my brain hasn't really it's still working on being able to articulate it, so I wasn't able to articulate the shit, but I know that that's a failed business model. 3 months later, he'll come and be like, hey, so I got this idea, and this is it. I'm like, yep, that's it. Because you can never count, like, a person like that, you can never count out. You'll see them going down a wrong path, and you would let them go. But because that's their rhythm, they'll be looking at markers along the way, and before they get to failure, they didn't route it themselves back onto the right path. That's how I get down. You can't never count me out, period, because I'm not tied to my beliefs. Now, I'm tied to my morals. There's moral codes that I live by, that I created, that I follow, period, and I don't go by them. But if those stop working, they go too. But there's certain golden rules, kindness, humanness, certain things about humans' interaction that are spiritually they stand amongst time and how to treat other humans. That keeps your integrity what it is. So when people speak on you, then you're solid in a book. But beliefs, that's just like apps. It's like apps. Name one belief that has to stay, that people think, I want to hear it. I want to hear one. If anybody in the comments or online or in the audience have a belief to say, you know what, I don't believe that, because this belief has to stand amongst time. And you know what I'll do? I'll prove you in 2 seconds how that's wrong, because that's your belief in America. There's another country right now that belief is detrimental. Right now. There's certain types of relationships, certain types of being, there's certain that you think is horrible to do. I would never do that. But in another country, it's a completely different world, and the way the system is set up is advantageous for you to. I would never do this. Even your morals right now, I would never do that. But put yourself in a situation where you are in a carnal state, locked up, or in a wilderness somewhere, and it's do or die, and all this shit, that shit will go out the window. So miss me with that moral high ground shit. So of course there's things to live by, the golden rule. If you are a purpose-driven human, you're moving in the space of helping others. Your goal is to make whatever situation better than when you got there. That's just how some of us move. If I'm in a relationship, even if we break up, my goal is for you to be better. Is for you to be better than before. I want you to be an advancing person with me, a progressive person. So even if we ain't fucking with each other no more, you look back and be like, damn, I grew, because my goal is to be an advancing human, not take away. So if that's part of my purpose and how I move, that's how I move. And that to me, that works for me. It makes me feel that I'm connected to my higher power and my purpose. But those are all beliefs. All right. Next one.
Our current models and systems have 3 limitations. 1, our models or reality are programmed by the world we grew up in. 2, our models of reality determine our systems for living. In short, bad beliefs create bad habits. Number 3, our modern models and systems are lacking in conscious practices.
Okay, so know this: your models and systems are already lightweight outdated. Most of the models that we move in are outdated models because our parents taught us. So when they was listening to the OJs and moving and grooving and only 2 degrees from slavery, they taught us that shit. So the belief system that we have, our models, are outdated models. They're 40, 50-year-old models. Boy, you better whoop that child. You better whoop that kid. Don't talk back to me. You disrespect me. You disrespected me. That word, if we had $1 million for the amount of times our parents used the word disrespect, we'd be millionaires. Sometimes a child's behavior at school, you got in trouble at school, you got your name wrote on the board at school, and the parent says, you know how disrespectful that is? Because they moving on super outdated models, which at the time a lot of times was, you got to move around white people. You can't show your chest. You can't stick your chest out in the place. You got to be kind of silent and move around and be yes, sir. You can't never challenge anything. That's the model that they had. So a lot of times, our rebellious stage during high school, teenage years, it helped us break it a little bit. That's not true. And sometimes that phase where kids go through where they think they're smarter than their parents, that lightweight helps a little bit for the future, because you can see a little bit the mortality of your parents or the intellectual limitations of your parents. But big picture, we end up following along in those same behaviors. Damn, I just said that. That's what my dad says. I remember my son, we're in a new generation of kids, right? They're a lot more, they're different. They're sensitive. They didn't have the 90s like we did. 90s was cracking. So we damn near are prisoners, POW damn near, like PTSD, prisoners of war mentality. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I still like fight have my back to the wall at a restaurant. Like, and we had a bougie restaurant because of that mentality. But my son one time, he's like, he shows up, he wakes up late for school for the bus 2 days in a row. You know what? That's not like you. Third day, I'm late. What's going on? Why are you late? Why you late getting on the bus? So after a little bit of back and forth, it's a bully on the bus. You got a bully on the bus. All right. I only know one way to handle that shit. All right, cool. Let's get in the car. Where does the bus stop at? right here. We're going to wait here. This motherfucker's going to get out the car and you're going to fight him. He's like, Dad, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, what? No, you fighting this dude. So he has an anxiety attack next to me, straight up. He's in 7th grade, straight anxiety attack. And I'm like, and he like bursts into tears, like, no, I want to handle it on my own. No, Dad, no. I was like, oh shit. Okay, I'm sorry. You ain't got to do that. That's just all I know. So if you want to handle it another way, I don't even know which other ways there are, because that's what my parents did to me. So I gave him a super outdated 70s, 80s, 90s survival way of handling it. You do not get punked. You don't run away from fights. If it's smoke, you go get it. There, I don't know what the fuck to do. So I bowed out. I'd let him handle it the way he figured out he wanted to handle it. And he ended up figuring it out, and it was different than my way. So I had an outdated model. I only had one model. But that's a lot of times how we move in all aspects in business. And so, question.
Thank you. Okay. That was a good example. But can't two things be true? Like your way could have rectified it, and his way could have rectified it. So it's not that, it sounds to me like there was not one belief that was true or one belief that was false. It's just which one you want to act on.
It's which one works, because it's all relative. So if we take away the right and wrong of it, if I only had one model, so the one model I had didn't work for my son. It could have worked for another kid, but it clearly didn't work for my son. So it's not about which way is right. Throw away right and wrong. It didn't work. You know what I'm saying? It didn't work. So our goal is to be effective. Our goal is to be effective in everything we do. It's to be effective. So my brain is not even wired for any other option. So do you tell the teacher he has a book? Like, I don't know what to do. So it's not about right and wrong. It's about what was effective for my son. And that like, I could have been a better assessor to know that doesn't work. What can work? Let's open up some other possibilities to see what could possibly be effective. I realized why he was scared of that dude. That dude was huge. He had a man body. And my son was 4'11". And he was like 5'11", 6 foot and big. I'm like, okay. I realized that I didn't do enough of my homework. But you know what? The 90s versions would have still made me fight that dude. Or if he big, get and grab something and hit him in the head with it. That was But so it's not about right and wrong. It's about what works. So us as entrepreneurs, we're looking for the ways that work in the best manner. All right, let me sit back and brainstorm. Okay, but like that's all. It's really the end of it. Next slide.
Your 5-block radius stays in your programming well after you leave the block.
Man, do I gotta say anything else? That's what's fucking with us right now. That's what is limiting us. Is that what has been created for us, our programming and our software that we used, well after that programming, we're still moving in that same space. We move with that same behavior. It's like the example, like going to a super high class restaurant when we were in Arizona, and I had to sit with my back away from the wall. It was hard to have a conversation till I'm like, bruh, relax. It's not it's nothing but like bougie uppities in this motherfucker. But because of that programming, you're wired, like, we still carry that. We carry that. So the goal is, once you realize, man, I'm moving with my 5-block radius mentality, I gotta stop. We gotta create some new space. We gotta change. I don't want this. I divorce all of this. I divorce it all. I don't want it. I don't want it. I want what works for me with the goals that I have, the intentions that I have, an extraordinary life. So what beliefs do I need to have in order to have an extraordinary life? That's it. That's my only question, is what beliefs do I need to have in order to have an extraordinary life? Let's keep going.
What is your relationship with God?
It's a dope-ass slide, by the way, but I worded it like that because, again, I don't want to get too deep into particular religious beliefs. But your relationship with your higher power, God, creator, universe, whatever you call it, you're going to need it for this journey. You're going to need it. It's important for you to have it. Period. And one of the reasons, too, is you have to be humbled to know that there's something way bigger outside in your little ass brain. There's so much more outside of you. You're just a dot. And there's a rhythm that's happening universally, spiritually, that operates on such a higher frequency that you're just, like, it can humble you. But if you're connected to it, it allows you to see your role and helps you navigate through your entrepreneurial journey. And whatever it is, whatever you believe, as long as it works for you, you good. The minute it stops working for you, throw that shit in the trash, even if it's a religion. I said it. Throw it in the trash. If it works for you, you good. Keep going. Use it. Allow it, because that's the only litmus test of your spiritual and religious beliefs. I've been on a crazy journey, and I love it. I went down a super spiritual rabbit hole. My mama was a Jehovah's Witness. And we lived in a hood, and our life was trash. It was all kind of crazy shit happening. And I'm like, if this is, I don't make no sense. For life to be this shitty and for us to be going to church this much. It don't add up to me. It don't add up to me. And we was carless after my parents split up. We was carless, so we used to have to walk through East Oakland in my suit. And all my friends going crazy, roasting the shit out of me because we didn't have a car. I'm like, Mom, does God like you? That's what I used to think. We lived with rats and roaches in the hood, 64th and Mac, and she this gung ho, and it used to I have questions, hell of them. I have questions, and I questioned, and it was like, you are not allowed to question it. You're not allowed. So, as soon as I got of age, teenage, rebellious age, you can miss me with this. I'm out. Partly because this doesn't make sense. So poverty is they prey on poverty mindsets. People who are longing for more and they need a better life, so they paint these paradise pictures in your head to make you feel like the horrible life you live in is just temporary if you follow blindly what I tell you to do. Man, come on. So the thing is cult-like though. They have things in there that make it cult-like. So if you know anything about cults, it's dangerous. Like you pulling away from a cult is like you have to be super emotionally strong because you feel like you're dying. You're losing your community. You're losing your connection with God. You're losing all this shit. So the first thing that taught me how to break away from a culture escape was that. So I'm grateful for it. Y'all can miss me with this shit. Y'all can miss me. And the brothers would take me in the back and try to talk to me and be like, man, this is why? And I'd throw a question at them that they can't answer. Well, if that's the case, show me this scripture, because I was being a bad kid, right? And they were like, you got to break from temptation. And they showed me a scripture one time. Jesus was at the top of this hill, and the devil came and tempted him and offered him some shit, and then took him to another place and offered him, and took him to another place, and he passed all the tests. And they say, see, this is what. And I'm like, so you mean Jesus and Satan kicked it all day? So if he's that don't make sense. Aren't we supposed to run from him? Stay away from him? Avoid him? Them questions, I can't get into it. But to me, the beauty of it is having the strength to be like, Mom, I'm out. I'm breaking from this culture escape. I don't believe in this. And the thing is, they're trained, even moms are trained to say, if you don't follow my religion, I got to disown you. So my mother had to tell me, say, well, this is going to be the last time we talk then. Basically, I can't talk to you no more. I can't associate with you no more. I can't see your kids no more, nothing. Now, if you ever want to come to the church, it's cool, but until then I can't even fool with you. So again, it takes strength and courage to say, it's worth it to me. Even though I love you and you my mom, you gave birth to me, I don't subscribe to your culture escape. It's not easy, but you got to do it if you want to have an extraordinary life. Now, it sucks not having access to your mom. It sucks. That's just not easy. But when you have an extraordinary life and you know you purpose driven and you have your beliefs that work, then it's part of the game. And you're not even mad at those people. I'm not even mad at my mom. I love my mom. I hope she feels my love from a distance. But you cannot be connected. You cannot let the threats of a culture escape keep you trapped, because it's just an idea. You do the research, some white dude back then just created the religion off his own just desire to create it. Almost like, hey, let's create a gang and just be influential enough for people to follow. It's thousands of Christian religions. But once you step outside the culture state, you realize the ridiculousness of it. But when you're in it, you can't. There's Christian religions who say other Christian religions are false. Not even just Muslim religions. There's Christian religions that swear by their truth and their religious truth, and the other ones are trash, and if you follow them, you're going to die. You're going to hell. Within Christianity, who's right? That's my point. It's if it works for you, man, rock with it. But if it doesn't, then you have to make the choice. And sometimes those choices might be challenging. But overall, you end up winning. You end up having that extraordinary life you want. I think we'll do one more slide. All right. All right, last slide. I would have never thought that I wouldn't have made it through my slides. Shit.
Consciousness engineering isn't just about being a Consciousness engineering isn't just about being happy, though happiness is a wonderful byproduct. It's about getting to human 101 and beyond and striving to be at the highest level of human development we can be, so we can fulfill our highest potential and, as the saying goes, leave this world a little better for our having been in it.
That's what we're here for. If we ain't in this game to be the best version of ourselves, then why are we playing? If, as an entrepreneur, your goal isn't to be the best version of yourself, why are you playing? Why are you playing this game? Especially this entrepreneurship game. Your goal as an entrepreneur needs to be for you to be your most optimal self at all times, because your vibrational frequency, who you are, your vibration, when you radiate out your activities, it all matters. It all has butterfly effects in what you do every day. So if you think about it, if you overall at a 7 that day, everything you're gonna do is gonna be 7. 7 shit, 7 here. Your relationships, you're gonna talk like a 7. You're gonna this a 7 and a 7, 7, 7, 7. But if you find ways to where you're a 9 or a 10 that day, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially, you're focused, you're a 9. Imagine the output, the effectiveness that you can have when you're at a 9. So that's why entrepreneurs know that every day we wake up, the goal is to be our best self, to be our most optimal self. And it's not just being motivated. But like a lot of times, their idea of that is being motivated. Let's be hella motivated and inspired. No, that's only worth 1 or 2 points. 1 point, maybe, max, being motivated. Is when you're your optimal self, you've set yourself up to move in a way that other people think you lightning fast because you've worked up to it on a daily basis. So when we say get good sleep, that's why some of this shit is basic. Some of this shit is basic. Some of y'all are missing millions because of basic shit, not the highly intellectual shit. Some of you are missing millions because you don't get good sleep. Basic. Some of you missing millions because you don't meditate. You don't find a place to center yourself and get your brain and your mind right. To let go of yesterday and to get centered and be present in yourself and be present in your body and to run your energy in a way that makes your body internally optimal. You don't meditate. Nah, that shit is weird. I can't see the value of it because I can't see it. Some of you are missing your millions because you don't eat right. You're exhausted. You're tired all the time because of your eating habits. Some of you are missing your millions because you don't go to the gym. So your body doesn't know what it means to push itself beyond where it is currently. And that sounds so fucking basic, but it's the truth. It's the truth. Me as an entrepreneur without those 4 things and me as an entrepreneur with those 4 things is night and day. I don't even look the same. Me as an entrepreneur without those 4 things, I'm not even qualified to be up here sitting here talking to you. It's a true story. I'm not qualified. I'm not qualified because the butterfly effect of my life will not put me in a space where I even feel comfortable speaking on this topic. Boom. Wake up, straight meditation. After that, gratitude. What am I most grateful for? What else am I 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 grateful for? Till I start tearing up. That's when I know I can move on to the next thing. Visualization. Where do I want to be? What do I want to do? What do I want to accomplish in my head? Let me see this play out. 4th thing, I take my ass to the gym and I push myself further than I did yesterday, which I already won. I've already won the day because I did 1 extra rep, 1 extra set. I did 10 pounds stronger than I did yesterday. So now my brain is already telling me, yeah, you raw. You doing this shit. You got better. I don't even, like, if I haven't done those things and I go to work, my work, I'm at a 6. I do those things, I'm optimal. So the goal for you, you got the game fucked up. You do. If you feel like you don't need that, It's like you're not optimal enough as a human to run an entrepreneurial endeavor in a way that's profitable for you every single day if you don't have those daily habits. That's the goal. That's the goal. Oh, I skipped one. I spend 30 minutes reading. I go downstairs, I grab my book, and I read. So I read 30 minutes, physical book. Then in the gym, I'm listening to the same book on audiobook. That's it. That shit is so simple, really. But it's so hard for a lot to do. Some because it's so simple. There's no way those things can correlate. But that's the real. That's our goal. Let's hit these questions and then get out of here.
Also, we want to know if there's any business in-house questions. Here's an opportunity for you to grab the microphone and ask your questions. Any questions in-house? Business questions? I don't have a question, but I had kind of. Okay, go ahead. Pass it back. Listen, make sure you guys ask your questions. Don't try to catch me through the week. I'm not going to be available.
Just circling back on the conversation of escaping the culturescape, and when you leave those 5 blocks, those five blocks stay with you. Having and am still going through this, what I wasn't prepared for with that was the withdrawals from that previous experience. So we can move our mindset, I've moved my mindset and understand the value of pivoting and leaving those things behind. But my body had become kind of addicted to the sensations, that my body had become addicted to the up and down, and all of that emotion was hard to let go of. And so when you leave the culturescape and you have peace, or you just have a different rhythm, my body was still feeling very much the emotions of everything in the past. And I had to tell myself, well, one, working out, like you guys always recommend, helps because you can physically move that energy through your body. But then also coaching myself to stay through that detox period and realize that just because you're feeling that way, it's not that, it's still working for us. It's still working, even though you might feel this calling or this urge or this craving to kind of revert back to the way you were. So just stay strong through the detox part.
That's a good point. Have you guys ever had a fall, like gotten big trouble, big trouble, and for whatever period of time, it was so easy for you to not do that shit again? I remember I used to steal like a motherfucker in school. I stole. If it wasn't glued to the ground, as an elementary, junior high, high school, I was gone. I had like 6 bikes in my patio. I'm telling you, the kind of kid I was, anyways, anything from whatever. And as people at school, my sisters, everybody, they would give me money or shit to go steal for them, right? So I upgraded from candy to like whatever, video game systems, it didn't matter. So one day my sister was like, all right, I need some makeup. I need makeup, this, eyeliner, this. She gave me a list of shit to get for her. Got it. I forget what in return, but we had like a little system going where she would give me some shit for stealing for her. So I go to the store, and I go to town, stealing all the shit. Boom, 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 boom. I fill my whole shit up with her shit. I took one step outside the door, got grabbed. Boom! So it was an undercover or whoever. So I'm trying to fight him off, and I'm like, I didn't take nothing, and shit's falling out my jacket. And he hemmed me up because I'm a little kid, and takes me to the back. Well, back then, whatever you got caught stealing, you had to hold it, and they took a picture and put the shit you stole on the wall in the store. So I'm sitting there with makeup, lipstick, eyeliner. So everybody's like, is this dude secretly on the low or something? And I'm like, it's for my sister. It's for my sister. But it was the most embarrassing thing I ever went through, because the undercovers is laughing at me. When they called the police came, they laughing. Like, I never stole one thing again. I never stole one thing again. I've never stole again. And I say that to say is a lot of times when you leave the culture scape, you come up with enough reasons that are emotionally compelling to make you say, oh shit, I'm getting out of there. I ain't never doing it again. And a lot of times when we get through the detox periods where it's hard, is because the compelling reason that made you quit kind of faded. So it's always good to remind yourself why. Bring it back to the forefront and the detrimental effects of what that culture scape does to you. And if you compound that, you be like, oh, yeah, okay, no, I'm cool. I'm cool, no. Like, because if you got to keep that in the forefront, because it is hard. If you let it fade, those relationships seem back attractive. Those situations, like, I wasn't so bad. Like, it wasn't so, because your brain starts to start normalizing things. But you got like, no. That was horrible. And let me tell you the 10 reasons why that was horrible. And you're like, oh, yeah, never mind then. Are we good? So
I have a business question. So when you find yourself in a space when you're not polished, right? So like we all have the higher versions of ourselves when everything's cool. You can be the highest version of yourself, calm, collective, thoughtful, and everything, right? And then you got those times where you're being challenged or you're outside of your comfort zone and you revert back to your means. When you're in that space where you're unconsciously reverting back to your means, what are some of the things that you practice to help you see yourself more clearly?
you answered it earlier, introspection. So we don't play the game perfectly every time. We fuck up all the time. So the goal, everybody got a plan until they get hit in the face, right? So we all have plans until we get hit in the face too, in business. So if there's a strategy or a meeting or a sales pitch or an idea that we want to execute, and we get there and we fumble it and we know we fumbling it, it's introspection. And it's asking your question, going deep into the what's, not the why. It's going deep into the what's, and working backwards. What can I do to improve? What are some ideas to improve? Also, introspection with other people who have game, who can give you other inputs, more mature in business than you. Hey, this is what happened. This is what I came up with. What do you think? And chopping game because it's all hindsight. So you improve from hindsight, and then you try again. So you prepare when that opportunity happens again. All right, this is what I'm gonna do different, and you go for it. And it's I don't know if you've seen in the illustration in Vishen's book about how progress works. It's not linear. Like, I failed here, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna do better, and I'm gonna go straight from here to here. And I'm gonna do better here to here. No, you're gonna try it, you're gonna fuck up, you're gonna try again, you're gonna go a little bit better, but your better is gonna be higher than the last time. And that's how you grow. It's never a perfect, it's continuous hills. So to me, I do it with hindsight. I have a strategy, I go after it. I'm always watching myself, always monitoring myself. And then I don't say, well, why am I so stupid? I keep fucking up. Nah, those aren't empowering questions. It's what? Okay, what happened? What can I do to get better? What can I do to improve? What happened here? And I'm taking notes, mental notes. Then I'll sometimes pose it to my OGs. Hey, no, check this out. This is what happened. And he said that, and I said this. And you might want to try this. Or here's a secret. I used to have the same thing happen to me, and then I start doing this. All right, let me try it. Immediately. That's how you grow. Overall, that's how you improve in business.
Hey, we have a great question online from Letitia, Blacksher. She says, I feel like you can be stuck in a culturescape without being consciously aware you're in a culturescape. What's the best tactic to evaluate your exact culturescape so you can escape it?
I love that question. Love it. All right. The best way to attack that is you look at your fruit. Because sometimes you don't know you're in a culturescape. You don't know. Because if you don't know you're in a matrix, it's hard sometimes to understand that there is a matrix. So the best way is look at your fruit. Like the religion. I grew up like all I knew as a kid was that. All I knew as a kid was that. So and you got such a gung-ho mom, she's indoctrinating that into you. And you every other day, you sitting there with a book singing Jehovah shit. So they're programming you, right? But then you look at your life. Something ain't right. My daddy is a dope dealer. And he kills, like he's a savage. Shoots people. And this is your husband. So I already know your decision making ain't always the best. And our life is fucked up. Nobody gets to come to my house. The neighborhood, I have to go to their house. They can't come to my house. Something wrong. So I couldn't pinpoint it. I couldn't say I'm in this culture, but something's wrong. So you use that something's wrong and you work backwards from there. You feel me? Like you use that. My life is not working. I can't get past this glass ceiling. I've been making $50K a year for 6 years. Everything seems to be working. Life seems to be operating. It seems to be solid. I don't know what's going on. Like everything seems right, but I've been making $50K a year for the past 6 years. That must mean I'm stuck in a culturescape. Now you start the investigation. I keep getting with these raggedy dudes. I must be stuck in a belief system. It's either my hardware or my software. Let me investigate, because it's the same pattern. So you start with your output, and then you work your way backwards. You start with your fruit. Look at your fruits of your life. In relationships, in money, in business, in your health, in your spiritual connection with your creator. Look at your outputs, your happiness. Man, everything look cool. Everything is cool, but I'm not happy. I'm miserable. But if I look around, everything lines up. I got this super handsome dude next to me or good-looking woman next to me. I got this nice house. I got this good job. I'm mobbing in the car that I want, but I'm miserable. What culture? I'm stuck in a culturescape, and start investigating. That's how you do it.
There's a question on Facebook. This is from Julia. And she says, if we don't have those 4 things down optimally, the meditation, gratitude, visualization, and reading.
And working out.
5, actually. But if we don't have those things down optimally, should we be slowing our entrepreneur journey or keep going?
No, you just start trying. You start doing it. That's the beauty about tomorrow. It doesn't have to be a long, exaggerated thing. Tomorrow, you wake up, and before you get out of bed, spend 5 minutes with your eyes closed, just introspecting, breathing. 2 minutes, you just meditated. You know what I'm saying? Then, while you're brushing your teeth, or you looking in the mirror, think about what you're grateful for. What am I grateful for? Man, I'm grateful that I stood up and walked in this bathroom. I got legs. I'm grateful for my health. I'm grateful for the home that I'm in. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for my children. I'm grateful for my kids. I'm grateful for my job or my business. I'm grateful for my customers. I'm grateful. I'm just so grateful. But you could do that while you're brushing your teeth. pop in an audiobook. So when you ain't listening to Lil Durk or The Baby or Lil Baby or whatever, spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes popping in the audio. It don't have to be long. It could be 10 minutes, but you did it. So then say you don't got time to go to the gym. But guess what? You got 20 minutes. You got 10 minutes. So in 10 minutes, you did burpees for 10 minutes. You hopped in the shower and you got in your car and you did with your day. But now you're thinking, damn, I did it. I did the 5 things today. Tomorrow, you do it again. If you can't do it any longer, just do it at the same time. But that was only like a 15, 20-minute thing. So it doesn't have to be exaggerated, but you got to do it. And you don't got to quit doing entrepreneurial shit because you haven't done that. But you started it, and it started small, and then you scale out from there. To me, my team at in my office, my employees know the difference. If I didn't done any of that shit, I'm so busy that I just woke up and went to the office because we got so much to do. They know the difference. There's 2 courts. It's the court that does that, and it's the court that doesn't, and they clearly know the difference. I'm waggedy, I'm wild, I'm quick to flash. The court that they know meditated takes deep breaths. Somebody say some foul shit. Like, well, what made you say that? Well, let's dig deep into it, and this is why, and blah, blah, blah. But the other one, I'm going, like, so I'd rather sometimes, if I don't do it, it's almost like I'd rather take my ass home, go through my 5 things, then come back to work. But don't, it's not either or. You incorporate it. And take a chunk of time and then make that time be all of it, but don't not do it. Cool. All right, y'all. Well, I appreciate this dialogue. This was a fun class. And if it ain't any more questions, then I'll see you next week. Peace.